This is Cole Stock from Mission Motorsports, and today we're going to be looking at one of the best entry-level dual sports, the CRF 250L. So today we're looking at the CRF 250L. The one I have right here, it's a 2018 model. There's nothing different between the 2018 and 2019. A lot of things that people don't realize about this bike and why it's so cheap compared to other dirt bikes or other dual sports like a KTM or a full-size motocross bike has to do with the engine and the suspension. This bike is designed for a totally different consumer than someone who's buying a full-fledged motocross bike, someone who's going to the racetrack, someone who's going to trailer their bike. And the reason why they did that is that because they wanted to go to someone that basically didn't really have a spot in the market. This is a bike that has a street-based motor. It has a CBR 250 motor in it. That's why it's so big. That's why this bike weighs 335 pounds, because it's not every lightweight performance part on the planet. It's a tank. It's designed to handle everything on the planet. The valve adjustments on this bike are close to 20,000 miles for adjustment. And that's all because of the type of motor it is. This is a perfectly good motor. They pulled it out of the factory and they threw it into a dirt bike. The forks aren't adjustable. It's entry-level suspension, but they still gave you an upside-down inverted fork. They still gave you a quality product on Honda's quality bike. It's running standard tire sizes, 21 inch. It's got an 18 inch in the rear. I got a DOT-approved knob on this thing, but it's perfect. It's going to go in the dirt, but it's going to get you there. You're going to be able to drive there. I'm going to be able to drive this thing on the freeway, hit 80 miles an hour, and I know it's not going to blow up on me. I know it's not pressuring that engine because this is a street-based motor. This is something that I know is going to last. I know it's going to take me anywhere I want to. I know I can take it through absolutely anything. And it sits low. And it's a lot of people that are getting into dirt bikes, they're very uncomfortable being on their tippy toes. That's how you're supposed to be. I'm supposed to barely touch that bike and balance it on my tippy toes. And the reason for that is clearance. The suspension needs enough room to have clearance so that if I go over rocks, it's not going to scrape the bottom. It needs to be able to adapt to the surroundings, because that's what a motorcycle is, especially in the dirt. You adapt, you overcome, you go through the trails, you hop over that log. This is the perfect bike to do all of that. So when we talk about maintenance on this bike, it doesn't require a whole lot. The first maintenance is going to be like on almost any street bike, 600 miles. Change your oil, change your filter. You want to inspect pretty much everything else, your chain, your fluids, all that stuff. When I take it a step further, your oil doesn't have to get changed until 8,000 miles. That's the regular interval. Every 8,000 miles. That is such a long interval. The reason why it's so long is because, once again, street-based engine. It has a lot more oil in it, which means it gets dirty less often. If I were to look at a KTM, there is so little oil in it that it gets dirty all the time like a regular motocross bike. That's why those intervals are so short on high-performance bikes. The next kind of thing what everyone always asks about is valves. You have to inspect them at 16,000 miles. That doesn't necessarily mean they need to be adjusted. So at 16,000 miles, every 16,000 miles, you want to check them. When your bike starts riding rough and it kind of starts making like noises and it just doesn't exactly idle right and it starts to get rough, that's when they probably need to be adjusted. But you'll have them inspected long before then. I doubt they'll even need adjusting at 16,000 miles. It's really going to depend how you ride it. If you rip it super hard, it's possible. Spark plug, 16,000 miles. Your chain, that's going to be another thing that's dependent on you, how often you're going to crack that throttle wide open. It doesn't have a crazy amount of torque, but it's still a dirt bike. It's still going to stretch that chain out. It's still going to loop those little teeth. So inspect that regularly. This is Cole Stock from Mission Motorsports. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you like our content, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And once again, this is Cole Stock with Mission Motorsports in Irvine, California, 949-582-0351. Thank you.